So, and you guys at EO, you free pour, which is kind of goes against the other cocktail bars in Manhattan and most of the cocktail bars around these days. And is that how'd you come to that decision?
Well, we were forced to do this. I don't have anything against jiggering. I use jiggers myself when I work on recipes, when I teach people about certain cocktails. I certainly use jiggers. They are helpful. I don't believe that jiggers alone will make or break you. If that was the case, then we could design machines that make drinks, and they would be much more consistent, and their drinks would be perfectly diluted and perfectly chilled, and always the way they're supposed to taste. And nobody goes to a robot bartender to get a drink. There is this human element that I learned to understand. Really, is 50% of the cocktail. Think about it. When you are jiggering, your whole body language, your upper body, and your focus is focused downward.
Yeah.
So you are grabbing the bottle, you're pouring into this jigger. That jigger is then poured into a mixing vessel, like your upper body, your area of your chest, the area of your head, everything is projecting downward towards your working surface, which means that you are basically not sending a body language signal to your guests, I am here, I am available, nor can you really pay attention to what is going on
Right.
out there, because you're paying attention with your senses about how to create a drink. When you learn how to free pour, your body language changes. You're basically opening up your chest, and you are opening up your whole viewpoint. Your head lifts up because you're not really actually paying attention anymore with your eyes about how much you pour, because you have trained your hand to know exactly how much liquid leaves the bottle in a unit of time.
Right.
Free pouring is hard. It's not easy to learn. We were forced to learn it because we always used to work in places that demanded really high output. And you just had to do a pour test,
Yeah.
And to this day, if you work at TGI Fridays or these corporate chain places, you come to work, you do a pour test. If you fail your pour test, you're not working this shift. There's another bartender waiting right behind you who's going to nail that pour test and work the shift. So although I don't believe in this type of competitive environment, what I believe is free pouring is essential, because if you don't master free pouring, you cannot connect your heart to your execution of your cocktails. It's just not there.
That's
And it becomes cognitive only. If you use jiggers only, you're very one-sided. It's as if you are only cognitive, and there is absolutely no emotion going into the cocktail. As if, I'm not saying it is always the case, but it seems like it. And especially, I'd like it to be all about the guests, and if my body language is such that I'm open and I'm available and I'm paying attention to what's going on, and I'm making eye contacts with people who are waiting to get their order in, then, the people feel much better. When I'm working like a swan, over my mixing vessel, pouring, being afraid to lift my head up to see how many other people are waiting to be served, then it also communicates a different kind of message to the guests.
Right. That's great. I remember I was at one seminar and somebody offered the advice: keep your eyes up even while you're icing the glass, and I thought that was such awesome advice.
Yes, it's hard. I always teach my bartenders that, drinks. It was all about the drinks. Then people who have the best drinks would still be in business. If it was all about great food and chefs that serve duck testicles on salmon caviar should be are still in business. That's not why people come back.
Yeah.
It's important that the drinks and the food are of great quality and the best we can do.
Right.
But that's not the reason why people will come back.
No. It's ironic that in your local neighborhood bar, jiggers are really frowned upon by the guests, and they feel like they're not getting their money's worth, or they're not getting bartenders' discretion, shall we say? And and now at the high end places, a lot of them will demand jiggers, but
But look, I mean, there's also, there's like our industry is at a point where the demand for highly skilled professional bartenders is very high.
Hmm.
Um, and the supply is just not there. I mean, you can't just like be making old fashions for 2 years and think that you know how to be a bartender. It's just like in most cases, people who should still be apprenticing with their teachers or others are now being asked to actually run programs by themselves, and this creates discontent. This creates, although this is great that we have this whole demand and that the bartenders are in such high demand, we just don't have enough people who understand these things.
Right.
And then this whole liturgy about, oh, thou shall always dry shake. I always ask people, why do you dry shake? And they're like, well, it emulsifies better. I'm like, what? And what is that? Well, I'm like, come on. I mean, at least know why you're doing things. Don't just parrot stuff because you saw it on a YouTube video that some dude with mustaches and sleeve guards is doing. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Who taught you this and why? Why are the reasons you're doing this? You should be always in the clear about why you're doing certain things.
Yeah.
And most young bartenders really are just parroting what they've seen other people do, and that's not how you learn to be a bartender. That's just one-sided.
Right. Well, Jeffrey, with the last name that nobody can pronounce, the bar book, which is all about techniques, is I think is a
Morgenthaler.
Yes, thank you.
Jeffrey Morgenthaler. Yes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that book and learned so much from it. And he talked about how it's not just about the recipes. You got to, like you were saying, you got to know why you're doing certain things. And it was
Yeah.
I'd recommend that book to anybody. Very good, very good.
It's a
book.
very good book.
It's
a very good book. I agree.
In your book, in the Speakeasy book, you guys talked about how the flavored martinis of the '90s was kind of a great gateway drug into quality cocktails.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's totally true. I remember the day when we made our first apple martini, and it was 1997, and whereas just about that time somebody came out with that apple pucker thing.
Yeah.
And one of the liquor reps brought it over, and we tasted it at Pravda, and we were like, "Oh, this is terrible."
Yeah.
So we just but we liked the idea because apples. Nobody used apples in cocktails before that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were like, okay. I mean, think about it. That was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I would serve kamikazes and cosmos and French martinis, and if I would serve a whiskey drink, it would be a whiskey sour, and that would be the end of that. Vodka martinis were all the rage, dirty martinis, and all of a sudden, wow, a new flavor, apples. So we basically went to the organic store in the neighborhood, and we bought a bunch of Granny Smith organic apples, brought them back to the kitchen, pureed them, added sugar to them, made a kind of a puree, put it into a cocktail, started playing with it. Bang, after that, literally 10 minutes after, we had our first rendition of an apple martini made with, pureed organic apples. And it was like, wow, how cool is that? How cool is that? Now you look at a cocktail like that, you could define it as being super one-dimensional and, just not exciting at all. But back then, it was as if somebody would make you a Sazerac for the first time. New flavors, completely a new experience of drinking. That was then.
Yeah.
Look where we are now.
Well, outside of the major metropolitan areas, there's still a lot of that kind of apple pucker drinks going on. I'll tell you. And it's
I understand. It's true, but see, like what people don't understand is by us pouring these drinks, these multicolored cocktails into these V-shaped martini glasses in the 90s. What that has done also is conditioned the guests and the consumers to hold a cocktail glass in their hands, to actually, drink a different color cocktail that is not just brown
and to
or
sip
clear.
it, right? To sip it rather than gulp it.
Yeah.
With a straw.
So we had to heal the consumer palate after the terrible things that were done to it during the 70s and the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it all started.
Yeah. Well, you also say in the book, we think recipes should serve as learning tools for new inspiration, and That's great. You know, sometimes it's easy to think that maybe all the great drinks have already been invented, but from your statement there, it's just a jumping off point, right?
Well, like think about it. Today, we are finding we're in unprecedented times in history of gastronomy in general. Look how much and how many ingredients are available to us year long. And I'm not only talking about fresh produce. I'm talking about liqueurs and cordials and syrups and the distillates and fortified wines and even wines and beers. We are now having a huge amount of ingredients available to us, and it's growing every week. We have more and more things added to it. Obviously, the craft is going to grow, and we are as creatives, we are pushed to create new drinks and to create new experiences, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And some people take it to an extreme level, and that's great to see. It's great to see what you can do. Like if you go to the Aviary in Chicago and drink there with Charles Joly, I mean, you're like, wow, man, I've never in my dreams imagined that, you can do all these things with this beverage. Then like I saw yesterday, Julie Reiner was talking about, she's judging currently the world-class competition going on I think it's in Ireland or somewhere. And somebody served her a drink with ants as a garnish. Like, red ants,
Oh my God.
that release this, I don't even know, that ant acid into the drink. I mean, dude, ants in a cocktail. I mean,
Who's gonna order that?
The only insects I ever saw in cocktails were fruit flies, and even that, and look at this. I mean, look at this now. It's insane. It's insane.
Very crazy. Yeah, well, it's cool how you make the correlation between jazz and bartending, and I can see you're very uh, you focus so much on the drink, but the hospitality of it is obviously more important to you, and I think that's awesome. I couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you see as an operator for a long time. It dawns on you, like all these people here come because of a reason,
Yeah.
and the reason cannot be the drinks. Because I can tell you, although we think that we have done our fair share in the contribution of this movement, our drinks are definitely not, objectively speaking, the best drinks out there. There must be somebody who's doing things a little bit better than us as far as drink making. I mean, and I am completely okay with that.
Right.
But that is not the reason why people come back.
No, not at all. Well, I won't keep you too much longer. I so appreciate your time. The best of luck with the 86 company. Will those
Thank you so
products
much.
ever be available to consumers or never?
Oh, we actually hope that they will be available. We are actually right now releasing the 750 size in all liquor stores across the nation that we are available in all states that we're available in, which now is 22 states actually. So by the end of the year, every state where you can see an 86 bottle behind the bar will have an 86 bottle in the liquor store. So.
Cool.
Go get it. Learn how to make a mean dry gin martini and enjoy the Christmas time.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to hold one of those ergonomically designed bottles. They look pretty awesome.
Thank you. That's very kind.
Thank you so much, Dushan. I really
You're welcome.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Brian.
Take care. I hope to run into you soon. Bye bye.
Me too. Bye.